Hey friends, Andrew here, hope you're well. Today, let's take an in-depth look at the G4 OLED, which is LG's latest flagship TV. And on first impression, this is the best OLED TV I've ever used, and it has completely transformed my cinematic experience in the living room. We know it has a powerful new processor, incredible picture quality, new AI features, LG's latest WebOS 24 interface, and the best gaming features including a new 144Hz refresh rate. But what makes this TV one of the best TVs you can buy? Well, I've spent the last month using this TV since launch day, watching plenty of movies and even hooking the G4 to a gaming PC to test that new 144Hz feature. So hopefully my review today will give you an idea of just how incredible this flagship TV is, and I'll do my best to answer all the questions you guys have asked in the previous unboxing video. Let's start with the picture quality on the G4 because it is absolutely incredible. The MLA OLED panel paired with the new Alpha 11 processor produces perfect contrast, insanely deep blacks, and a tack-sharp image that needs to be seen in person to understand just how good this is. The color reproduction is also top-notch and looks great right out of the box with little to no calibration. The micro lens array tech helps to increase the color volume, and you can definitely see that in the G4. Watching lots of different movies and TV shows over the last month, from the very colorful and bright blue-eyed samurai show to more gritty shows like Dark, there was not a moment that I felt like the picture quality or colors were lacking. Every single scene was impressive and will blow you away. Let's take an even closer look at the screen with a 90mm macro lens, and you can start to see the individual pixels here, which would be hard to see with my own eyes. And at this macro level, you can see the slight chromatic fringing, but unless you're pressing your head right up against the TV, which I hope isn't how anybody is going to be enjoying this TV, then picture quality will always be tack sharp in almost any situation. And an important side note, if you just got your G4, make sure you install the very big software update that just launched. If you don't see the prompt here, go into the settings, support, software update, and then go ahead and download the update, and it's worth turning on auto update here too, so you don't need to think about it in the future. Now, the G4 is brighter than any previous LG TV, and as soon as I first turned this on, it was eye-wateringly bright and noticeably brighter than the G3. It is so bright that it can be too bright for nighttime viewing. A friend commented that it was uncomfortably bright at night. The 55 to 83 inch versions of the G4 feature the new second gen MLA OLED panel, and LG claims that the G4 is 50% brighter than the G3 with a maximum peak of 3000 nits. And that's also thanks to the max peak highlighter feature and AI processor that helps enhance brightness to ridiculous levels. The G4 was already super bright thanks to MLA tech and brightness booster max. The highlights are absolutely elevated but not overblown, and the colors are so vibrant without compromising on picture quality or black levels, because the black levels are still great in bright rooms and there's no color fringing around text and objects. So this TV supports Dolby Vision up to 4K 120Hz, and this is how you'll take advantage of the new peak brightness. So with Dolby Vision enabled, or whenever you see the HDR logo appearing on the corner of the screen, this is when you'll really see what this TV is capable of, and the viewing experience is just sublime. It handles HDR colors really well. And of course, SDR content will still look really good on the G4, but I highly recommend putting on a HDR supported movie, game, or TV show as soon as you get this TV. So picture quality and brightness is top tier, but what about viewing angles and the reflections? Well, you can watch the G4 at any angle in your room and be able to enjoy the G4 in all its glory, so that's perfect for larger rooms or different couch positioning. I didn't find any significant brightness or color variations across the screen, and image quality is great from all angles, and that's obviously a big perk of OLED displays. But the screen is still super glossy and reflective, especially in the middle of the day, so the anti-reflective coating and tinted glass is only going to do so much to remove the glare. I have this big feature window right behind the sofa, directly opposite the TV, that really challenges the glossy display. But the saving grace here is the incredible brightness that we just talked about, and thankfully it's perfectly viewable during the day. But if you do sit this TV directly in sunlight, you're going to struggle with the reflections, so you'll want to limit that light coming through. So far, this TV sounds like any other high-end OLED panel, right? But what makes the G4 different is its new Alpha 11 processor and onboard AI features, and it does a lot to improve picture quality. This year, we get AI super scaling, AI Picture Pro, AI super resolution, and AI object enhancing, plus noise reduction. And one of the highlight features within AI Picture Pro is that director processing mode. And after using it and switching this mode on for a few movies over the last month, I have to say I like it, but I don't love it. So what it does on paper is it allows the G4 to fix saturation, hues, and overall color tones by analyzing the entire picture in real time to try and detect a director's intended color tone and adapt that picture to try and match that intent. When watching Wes Anderson movies where colors are really fun and vibrant, the AI does a decent job lifting the colors and tones, but in movies that aren't so clear-cut in their color theory, sometimes the processing seems too dull or too saturated. When it gets it right though, the AI does a great job lifting the picture quality to differentiate it from the G3, but for the purists, you'll still probably want to manually calibrate this TV and customize settings. So the LG G4 has downward firing speakers in a 4.2 60-watt setup, which are boosted by AI Sound Pro 2. Take a listen to this and let me know what you think. So like I mentioned in my first impressions video, TV speakers won't ever beat dedicated speakers, but the G4 speakers are truly one of the best inbuilt speakers I've heard, especially on Dolby Atmos enabled content. Now, the G4 happens to be one of the best TVs for gaming on the market right now and ticks every single box when it comes to PS5 and Xbox Series X games. The 4 HDMI 2.1 ports provide 4K gaming at 120Hz with the whole kitchen sink of gaming features like VRR, NVIDIA G-Sync, Auto Low Latency Mode, and AMD FreeSync Premium, all found in LG's awesome game optimizer mode. This all adds up to an ultra smooth gaming experience, and I've been playing lots of different games, especially fast-paced moving games like Need for Speed Unbound, and it looks mind-blowing on the G4. Even the very muted color scenes in Resident Evil look incredible and engaging. The second gen MLA OLED panel really shines bright when playing games, and you can't help but think that the G4 is made for gaming. But this year, the LG G4 supports up to 144Hz, and since consoles max out at 120Hz, what I did is I plugged in my gaming PC with an NVIDIA 3080 RTX I just put in recently, so hooking this all up to the LG G4 to test now, and wow, 144Hz is so smooth and incredible on this TV. So I did see a difference gaming at 120Hz on the PS5 compared to 144Hz on the gaming PC on this TV, but the truth is not many are going to be using the LG G4 with a gaming PC, and 4K 120Hz only recently became the norm, and it's going to be a while until we need and see higher refresh rate gaming. So sometimes with VRR switched on, gamma flicker is a known issue on OLEDs when the gamma curve doesn't adapt to different refresh rates, but I haven't run into this issue yet with the G4. Now, the overall look of the TV is premium, and I've been enjoying how it looks mounted on the wall even when the G4 isn't on. The brushed metal frame gives it that sleek, expensive feel, and it looks like a frame experience on the wall since this TV is meant to be mounted pretty close to the wall with that included slim wall mounts. And I've been using the universal wall mounts that I got separately, and I like how it's been so convenient being able to access the cables behind the wall. So many of you had questions about the included stand in the previous video, and yes, all sizes this year get a stand included in certain regions. The stand looks good and it holds up the TV, but it does tilt back slightly to distribute the weight of the heavy TV, but the G4 is still designed to be mounted, so if you have the space and you're able to, I recommend sticking to the wall mount. Okay, so this TV isn't perfect, and a part of the letdown is the default UI and menu, which is LG's WebOS 24. So the new home screen layout and appearance is definitely a nicer and neater layout, and I also really appreciate the new My Team feature for live sports score notifications, sports schedules, and results, but unfortunately it's still quite slow and unresponsive, and the homepage is filled with tons of ads. There is a setting to turn off the ads, but it doesn't seem to turn it all off. And then that brings me on to the remote, which just doesn't feel up to standard for such an expensive flagship TV. It doesn't look the part and sometimes can feel unresponsive. You can turn on SimpLink to have it control different inputs like the Apple TV, but I don't recommend it because the remote has limited functionality and I wasn't able to return to certain screens with the back button, for example. Okay, so the picture settings were requested in my first impressions video, so here they are, and feel free to pause the video and adjust your settings. The first thing I recommend you do is to turn off energy saving mode so you can access all the settings and get the most performance out of your new LG G4 TV. So here are my brightness settings, and I've been using filmmaker mode as a base, and make sure to turn dynamic tone mapping on too. Next are my color and clarity settings. I haven't tweaked these too much from the base settings. I find that it looks great out of the box. And if you guys have any recommended setting changes, please let me know down in the comments. Okay, so if you're after the very best TV you can buy right now to use for gaming and movies, the LG G4 is the one to get. It has the most incredible picture quality, an eye-wateringly bright display, all the gaming and movie features you need, and an ultra premium design. But as good as this TV is, ultimately no one needs a new TV every single year. And if you have the LG G3 or even the C3, the changes on the G4, even though they're significant, probably don't justify spending the load of money on this TV if you have a previous gen LG. But coming from a Samsung frame and LG B3 OLED myself, this was a big leap and the difference is absolutely night and day. So comment the code word G4 and I'll give it a like for making it to the very end of this video, and let me know which size you'd get the G4 TV in. Be sure to check out my initial unboxing and setup video right here of the LG G4 if you haven't seen it yet. And as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.